the A semi-final, and then after a short break, the final itself of the EFRA IC 10th touring cars for 2013. So once again, if you are still listening to us or perhaps just joining us, it is the lunch break at the moment. Technical difficulties are outside of the control of anyone here at the circuit, are preventing us from streaming live video at the moment. Connectivity issues that are being addressed by Austrian Telecom, and we will try and get around that doing some live audio commentary. Fortunately, they just happened to have brought a video commentator with them this weekend, the guy from RC Racing TV. And what we have seen is the wide open nature of this circuit, whilst it would look like it's easy to get by making passes under race conditions, the average corner speed is very high indeed, and therefore difficult to make a decisive pass. And it really is waiting for the guy in front to make a mistake. That has been the order of the day. Just give you the quick rundown if you haven't been able to find it, and again, aware there's been some timing issues as well from the circuit this morning. This is all tied up with the same connectivity problem, and we're working on very little bandwidth at the moment, but able to get some audio to you, which I hope will at least lessen some of your disappointment. Eric Dangle, fastest man of the week, has just been finished. Derek Wisniewski, Basil Conchiardi and Martin Hoodie, and those will be the 10 that will run off for places in the final. Now, it is a 10-place final, and it is 4 to go through automatically. I'm looking at Matt. 4 to go through automatically and 2 fastest losers. And that comes half past the next hour, some, 40 minutes away from now. Please do join us then. Driving standards, very neat. Stops around about the 5-minute mark, although there's a bit of kerfuffle or potential kerfuffle in the it is a very tight pit lane, and we have seen lacked in the early part of the week. About 4 laps, I think, before we see some pit stops. Or will Dangle take the chance and go in early to get an empty pit lane? The worry is, of course, as the leader, if you go in early and then somebody follows you in, just as you're finishing, someone else could be driving by you.
and block your exit. Should get through on the handout tyres here. Form spec tyres. And already some movement down in the pit lane. Somebody's had a problem. A bit of jostling going on there. In fourth. Oh, and somebody's gone off. I can hear that from the pit lane. There's the leader. Look at the back wheels, just getting caught up on the bodywork there. That was danger, and he's out. Back out again, but he's dropped down to third position, just ahead of Alexander Hagberg on the green car. All kinds of shouting going on from the pits to my left. That's Hagberg in behind the erstwhile leader. So Mazzio now leads, but he's into the pit lane. The number 3 Italian. And Dankel's already gone back through into the lead. Spataro pits as well. So after the first round of pits for the leaders, as Hagberg has pitted as well, the man from Paul is out there leading it. Eric Dankel then. 18.6 last time around. This is good stuff. Temper's getting a little bit flared down in the pit lane. Now that was I think a stop and go for someone. And that was Tony Gruber, who was back into the pit lane. 13 minutes and 45 seconds to go. There's your leader, Eric Dankel, on the Capricorn. And let's see what the gap is. He's going to get some traffic shortly with a battle at the back of the field. And he doesn't really want to get tied up in that. And Mazzio goes by Spataro for second place. 1, 3 and 5 now. So we'll cycle back now and have a look at the battles as they come through. Mazzio and Biagio with Kyle... Spataro, with Kyle Branson right in there as well. Second, third, fourth and fifth with Alexander. And sixth, all there together. Another lap completed. The leader on lap number 22. And for a moment, looks like we've lost the timing and scoring here. Just hung up for a second.
Can you see that one?
Yep, that stopped as well. And just doing a bit of a catch-up on the timing and scoring for a moment. The positions are unaltered, 1, 3 and 5. Dankel, Mazzio and Spataro. That is the number 3 of the second place driver, Mazzio. And behind him, Biagio Spataro in the second of those white cars. There he is coming down to the pits hairpin. Kyle Branson is the next car behind him, the best of the Brits. And that's a bit of a battle, isn't it, for third position. Top 4 only guaranteed to go through as of right, with the 2 fastest losers into the main final. And clearly, Kyle Branson not happy at being on the bubble at the moment. It begins to put the pressure on the Italian ahead of him. Through the Kleine Chicane, onto the back straight. Oh, good exit by the Italian. Opens up a gap, but who's late on the brakes? Who takes the pace into the apex? Well, both of them actually very evenly matched here. It is a quick track. It's difficult to find an opening. You've got to wait for an issue or a slight mistake. And Kyle Branson knows that his time is ticking away here. There's another set of pit stops coming up, but he's been caught by the 6th place car. And that's Alexander Hagberg, who's not that far behind in the green machine as they go round Amiga. There is the 6th place car, and it's an adage in all forms of motor racing. Doesn't matter what scale it is. As soon as you start the race, you're slowing yourself down, and Hagberg's going to want a bit of this shortly. Hagberg can see a qualification spot here. One of the transfer spots. Can he do it? Dankel and Mazzio have got away. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th, with the green car just coming into shot from the right now in 6th position. 3rd, 4th and 5th rather. It's the number 6 car that's coming into 5th position, which can confuse a stupid person like me. Hagberg on the X-ray, trying to get on terms with the 2 drivers ahead of him. The Capricorn of Kyle Branson and pits. Kyle Branson's in. Little bit of a stumble on the pickup, and that's just under 10 minutes to go. As Branson heads back out into the fray. So let's watch the pit lane entrance for the other guys coming in. And here comes the 2 guys he was battling against. Hagberg, oh, that was a bad pickup by his pitman, and that's lost him time. Much better by the man ahead. So just on 9 minutes to go. As through goes Alessio Mazzio in 3rd place in that on that white machine. The Serpent. He's had his problems this week. He was disqualified from his first and very good qualifying performance yesterday. The car was too wide. Mazzio with Brit Kyle Branson in close attendance. This is 3rd and 4th again. So as you were after the pit stop, the green car is next up is Alex Hagberg. Mark Green, the 7 car at the moment in 6th position. Trying to get on terms with these guys. That's Hagberg. Just not able to put himself in a position to challenge a very affable young Swede. Had a chat with him earlier on in the week, as I have with most of the drivers. Been impressed with their passion for the sport. Eric Dankel leads it then. Just over 8 minutes of the 20 to go. Into the corner in front of us goes the number 2. That is Tony Gruber. Further down the field. So one more pit stop coming in about a minute and a half's time. So many white cars here, very difficult to pick up anything that looks like the leader. 65 miles an hour down the back straight. And that is Eric Dankel. Good spot by Nathan there to pick him up. And he's looking like a champion at the moment, isn't he? Where was this form earlier in the week? He couldn't string 5 laps together. 3, yes. Fastest over 3 laps, fastest over a single lap. He's the only man whose name has been on the fastest lap board this week. He keeps taking half a tenth or a tenth out of his own time, and he's brought it down from 18.3 to 18.1 over the course of the last few days. And at the moment, he's leading comfortably from Biagio Spataro. But still one big danger point to come for all of the drivers, and that's their last pit stop. Decent bit of clear track ahead of the leader at the moment. And we'll cycle back through before the pit stops start to see the battles behind. As here comes the 2nd, 3rd and 4th battle. The battle of the Italians and the Brits. Spataro from Mazzio, second and third. A little bit further behind now, Kyle Branson, just dropping away from these two. Now, if I'm Eric Dankel at the head, as soon as I think I can go to the end, I'll be diving into that pit lane, thanks very much. Well, he's gone through for another lap. And there he is. Maybe a couple more laps for the leader, or will he come in slightly early to miss the crowd? Well, he's going to do one more 266 metre lap of the Stirring. This is the last danger point for him. Just got to keep it together. Super quick through into the pit lane, or the pit hairpin, should I say. Well, there's the shout. Heard it coming up from the pits just alongside us here. I think the leader will be in this time around. He stays to the right, does he? Yes, he does. Last pit stop. Crucial. Gets it done. I really worry when you see those rear bodywork getting so close to the rear wheels. And earlier on we saw somebody get banged down and that get jammed up behind the wheels. The driver was very savvy, revved the engine and managed to free it himself. Didn't lose too much time. So there is the second place car coming into the pits. Mazzio for his final stop. Now, did he get out in second? Yes, he did. As Mazzio and Kyle Branson are still behind him. So now it is the dash to the line. Only the top four qualifying as of right into the final. Eric Dankel out ahead of this battle. Second, there's the third place. Oh, that's Hagberg. And off on the far side, a couple of cars, but it hasn't worried the leader. Well, let's cycle through them then. That is our leader, Eric Dankel. Then we've got a couple of lap cars. Second is Biagio Spataro. There he is. On the 5, the 3 of Mazzio, the next. Oh, and Basile Conchiardi being shouted at there. That's Tony Gruber. He's a bit further back down the field, but another one of the white cars that is just sent to confuse us. That, I believe, is Mazzio. And why is Kyle Branson? Is he close enough to have a bit of a challenge? Yeah, he is. The first of the white cars there behind the yellow car. That is our third place driver. And that is Alessio Mazzio. Kyle Branson is the next white car back. And he's got a lapped vehicle between them now. And that's needs to be out of the way here. Spoiling the battle, and is. That's nice driving. So Kyle Branson at the moment is going through. Alex Hagberg is his challenger, and that's the green car just behind the yellow car. There is Hagberg. So Hagberg now got to get his act together. He's got less than 2.5 minutes now to do something about the cars ahead of him. Now, one of them is a lapped car and shouldn't really be getting involved. That yellow car is not in the fight here at the moment. As Hagberg, with the white front to the black, the green back of his car. And it looks to me as though Kyle Branson is just easing his pace a little bit. I wonder if the tyres are beginning to give up, because he's not dropping that back marker there at all, is he? And that's Basile Conchialdi, who is in the mix there. And now he needs to get out of the way, because he's beginning to hold up Hagberg, and there's a shout from the pit lane, and he dutifully does so. So Hagberg now has got target acquired on 4th position. Through the Kleine Chicane onto the back straight. Kyle Branson with 90 seconds. So 4 laps possibly to hold on to that transfer position into the final as of right. Then we'll have to start looking at the times. And Alex knows that if he wants to be on the grid with that green car for the final. He's got to take the white car ahead of him, and he's beginning to push harder now. This is going to come down to the last 3 laps, which will start when these guys cross the line this time around. 3 laps to go, just under a minute of racing. 900 metres or thereabouts of racing round this very technical circuit, very quick circuit as well. And Hagberg is almost within striking distance. Time running out. This lap, maybe one more as they go across with 36 seconds left. It's going to depend where the leader is. And Hagberg, it's now or never for him as he comes down to the hairpin. There's traffic ahead of Kyle Branson, and that could be his undoing here. He's got to stay cool. 20 seconds to go. There is going to be one more lap. Branson's got to hang on for another lap. 10 seconds from now. Has the young Swede got anything? He's not really close enough. One more overtaking maneuver. He's right there. Has a look down the inside but can't make it. It's the dash to the line. And there is the buzzer. And that is the margin that Kyle Branson holds on to his 4th place. Well, we rather neglected the leader there, but rightly so, I feel, because these guys were putting on a great battle for 4th position. Eric Dankel has taken it, 64 laps completed from Biagio Spatero. Alessio Mazzio in 3rd position. Kyle Branson holding on to 4th. Alex Hagberg will clock a 20.03.176 for the 63 laps that he completed. So that is the time that we need to look at. 20.03.176. 20.03.176. I'm actually writing that down. And that was Hagberg for 63 laps of the 266-mile circuit. Mark Green also having to wait. He did 63 laps in 20 minutes 16.5. So the first semi-final then, over and done with. I think they've got to go and Marshall. Okay. Okay. Fantastic run there by Eric Dankel.
You'll be allowed on the track for at least 3 minutes.
Right, so Eric was number 4. So let's see if we can go and get a quick word with him. It is very hot.
Okay. Internet?
I think Kyle Branson looks pretty happy. Let's see if we can grab a quick word there. Haven't come back out to do their marshalling as yet.
Okay, Green, don't stop the engine.
Well, I don't think we're going to get a lot of time, to be honest, to chat with the guys as the next group for the Semifinal B is the Semifinal A is coming out already. Drivers are already up on the balcony.
Please come to the positions. Marshals, please come to the positions.
Just looking at a few of the
Get
comments.
the opportunity, perhaps, to
Briefly looking at a few of the comments on the
have a chat
YouTube.
with
Ultra Rabbit is saying this is really good.
our last heat winner.
Damn, those guys can drive. Thank you for the live feed. Well, there does appear to be a live feed at the moment. And that's something.
Live coverage of from the Stir Ring, powered by Proto Form Race Bodies, and with our thanks to EFRA for the EFRA European Championships. One-tenth IC touring cars.
And don't forget, you can check out
Can't see
EFRA.ws.
is where Eric Dankel might have got to. He hasn't come out to Marshall yet. So we may not be able to grab him.
Please come into positions.
He should have to walk past me to the far side of the circuit. And clearly he sent someone else to do that. So not going to be able to get a chat with Eric, I'm afraid. Bit of a shame. He is probably going to lie in a darkened room and prepare himself for the final.
Could you hear? No, you can't. You can't hear me.
No.
Okay, fine. No.
Batteries you got.
Okay.
Don't worry, we can do without for this part. So, apologies for that. Let's go through the runners and riders, though, for the A semi-final. Gilles Grosskamp, top qualifier on the Shepherd. He's on one. What a return to form for the Dutchman. Can he convert it? Dominic Greiner, the young German, came out of Group 7 on the Serpent. Dario Balestri. And Dario on the KM chassis. He's in 3. Off start position 4 will be Daniele Alesi.
Please start the countdown 5 minutes.
Capricorn for Daniele. Off position 4. Leo Arnold, the Frenchman, from 5. Another one who came up from Group 7. That's 3 semi-finalists we've had from Group 7. Basili Conchialdi coming through as a transfer, and Dominic Greiner and Leo Arnold qualifying as of right. Leo on the Capricorn. In 6, Robert Peach. Robert's on the Mugen this weekend and hasn't really hit his stride yet, if I'm honest. Adrien Bertin is from 7th. Adrian on the KM, the World Championship winning chassis from just a few months ago. He is off start position 7, and then transferring through from the quarters, Francesco Teroni on the Capricorn, and he'll be pleased to have got in because he was in the top qualifying group. Nacho Lopez Lunch, and he's come out of qualifying group 6, so done a good job. And Patrick Nair out of qualifying group 7. So the lowest seeded driver who has qualified through to this stage is Nacho Lopez Luch on the Serpent, that dark red machine that's so easy for us to spot, and they're out on their warm-up. So the marshal's been called to their positions. We'll be lining the drivers up in just a moment on their grid slots. Welcome along if you are just joining us. We're in the closing moments of warm-up before the EFRA European Championship A semi-final. I see 1/10 touring cars, of course, the flavour of this week here in Austria. And Nacho Lopez Luch just going through for another lap there before they get themselves ready. One or two drivers staying out right to the very end. In fact, being sent out again. They do not want to leave those engines just ticking over, do they? Trying to keep them clean, revving them. 20 minutes is on the clock, and the top four qualified through as of right. To be the best of the lucky losers, you're going to have to do 63 laps in 20 minutes, 3.176 seconds. And that would beat Alexander Hagberg. There will be two that go through as fastest losers. Question is, will this be a quicker heat? We had the fastest man of the week in terms of raw speed in the last one and winning the last one, that being, of course, the extremely rapid Eric Dankel. So the final moments before we go racing in the A semi-final for the EFRA European Championship 1/10 IC touring cars here in Austria. Gilles Grosskamp with the white body. Mechanic just in the picture there with the navy blue on. He'll just top that motor up. Went back to the white body from the coloured earlier on this week, and that absolutely transformed his form. This could be all about fuel as Grosskamp gets away and already there's a bit of bumping and barging and boring as they go around the first part lap. It's Grosskamp from Greiner, from Balestri, Alesi, Leo Arnold, and Grosskamp is under pressure at the head of the field as he comes through to complete the first lap. Then Grosskamp from Greiner, from Alesi now into third place ahead of Balestri. Francesco Tironi's come up from 8th to 5th. Patrick Naher has also come through. There's been a bit of a conflagration at the back of the field, hasn't there? As there's a battle for the lead, and through goes the German. Greiner into the lead. Gilles Grosskamp said he wouldn't fight too hard for the lead. He wants to get to the final, but that looked very easy indeed for Dominic Greiner. I was calling Greiner the grinder earlier on this week because he is just metronomic. Perhaps not the greatest outright pace, but he certainly found something here. And this car has been consistently fast. 18.540 last time around when he took the lead for Dominic Greiner. And now Grosskamp is under pressure from Daniele Alesi on the 4. Alesi on the Capricorn, tracking down the Serpent of the Dutchman ahead of him. These three with a little bit of a gap. Grosskamp completely changed his car from Thursday to Friday. Went back to the settings that he'd run here in a meeting earlier in the year, albeit on contact tyres rather than what we're using this weekend. Even down to changing the body from his normal multicoloured one to one that's 6 grams lighter and mounted slightly further forward. He likes the turn in, likes the feel of the steering, the way it's set up this way, and he's using it to good effect at the moment. Holding down second position with Dominic Greiner in the bright purpley red car ahead of him, and behind him is Daniele Alesi, and those three are getting away from in fourth position. Dario Balestre, there is Dario. Another car that is relatively easy to spot. The leaders come round underneath me one more time. Balestre just in danger, I think, of losing that fourth place. Let's have a look at him as he comes through. Nah, he's got a bit of a gap. It's Francesco Tironi on the 8 car who is behind him. Remember, the top 4 only qualifying to the final as of right. 45 minutes to come later on, live here on rcracing.tv, powered by Protoform Race Bodies and in association with EFRA. Two, 1, 4, 3, 8, the top 5. Patrick Naha in 6th position on the 10, the 0. And the top 3 all of a sudden just beginning to close down on each other. With Grosskamp just picking up his pace last time around and doing it an 18.5 to the leader's 18.8. So 3/10 of the lead that was in the pocket of Dominic Greiner has disappeared. Now hopefully he won't let me down and start making silly mistakes. We haven't seen it. Lap traffic to be taken into account, and of course pit stops to come. So where is the first of the lappers? No, a little way away at the moment. And that is the top 4 that you're looking at there, all through one shot. 5th position, Francesco Tironi, some couple of seconds behind. 2 more laps before the pit stop window really opens for the leaders, but expect Gilles Grosskamp not necessarily to pit at the same time as everyone else. Grosskamp is the first of those white cars, and look at this, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, absolutely together. Now that's fine, because they're all in a qualification position at the moment, but you get the feeling, don't you, that Dario Balestri in that multicoloured car with the white front in 4th position does not want to be sitting on the bubble for too long. 20 minutes just on the outer edges of tyre longevity here, and the shouts begin to go up from the pits alongside us. Will the leader come in this time? Here he goes. Yes, he does. And also the 3rd place car comes in as well. Daniele Alesi. Grosskamp predictably stays out and takes the lead. So Gilles Grosskamp takes the lead. 16 laps. End of the 15th lap. Everyone else pitted. So Gilles Grosskamp then. What has the Dutchman got in his tank, and will he show it? Looking there at Robert Peach, who just hasn't done the business this week as he comes in for his first pit stop. Sadly out of form, and jumped in the pits by Nacho Lopez as well. So that just underlining what a week he's had. He's just lost 7th position to the red car ahead of him of Nacho Lopez. So there is the 2nd place driver of Gilles Grosskamp. So has he been in and out the pits while we didn't see it? He must have been. Because I didn't see Greiner get past him. Balestri now up into 3rd position with the bright rear there. And that is a change. He's put Daniele Alesi back down into 4th position. So now it's Alesi that is on the bubble, with Patrick Naher in 5th position trying to chase them down. So we've lost Tironi. Tironi's had an issue and he's dropped way off the pace. He's off the lead lap now. Francesco Tironi down in 9th position. All the top 4 there, heading off through the Kleine Chicane and down the back straight. Now, how hard does Dario Balestri want to try and get 2nd place from Gilles Grosskamp? I can see why he's not going to fight at the front of the field, knowing that he's going to qualify. But will he be prepared to give up 2nd place when 3rd and 4th are so close behind him? I'm not sure he will, you know. The Shepherd chassis working nicely, finally, for Gilles Grosskamp. Just couldn't get the balance earlier on. Did a lot of work with the engine and with the diffs. Oh, and was there a mistake there by Alesi? Where's Alesi gone off the back of that? He's definitely dropped back a little bit. He should be right in the wheel tracks of that orange rear end. But he's dropped away, and there's the pass for second place. So Greiner leads from Balestri now in second, and Grosskamp just not with the race pace at the moment. An 18.9 last time around from the Dutchman against an 18.6 from the new second place man, who immediately begins to pull out a bit of a gap and set about Dominic Greiner. But Greiner has just put his fastest lap of the race in, 18.479. Where is the German? There he is, coming up the traffic now in that red and black machine, or puce and black, perhaps we should say.
Are you avoiding saying pink?
I am avoiding saying pink, yes. At least it makes it easy to pick out, Matt. Greiner then just reaching out and rolling off another lap, but he's been closed down significantly. His last lap was an 18.9, and we haven't seen this inconsistency from Greiner. Leader's just heading on to the back straight now. In fact, that's a little bit further back, I think. My apologies, Nathan. I might have showed you a bum steer there. That's Balestri, and that's Balestri leading. It is the leader. Nathan is right on the camera, and I'm wrong in the commentary. That's the leader, and Grosskamp's gone to second, and the reason there that there was a little stutter is because Greiner has gone. Greiner has gone. Now, was that just a pit stop? He's dropped a long way back. We are into the pit stop window, and I have to say, I didn't see him come into the pit lane, for which I apologise.
He's on the track.
He is on the track, I'm told. There he is. So Greiner's dropped down to 5th position. 18.7 last time around. Dario Balestri leads from Grosskamp, and it's pit stop time. There's a shout going out. Somebody's about to come into the pits. I wonder if it's Grosskamp, as Balestri has just pitted. Shields Grosskamp is left in the lead. Down in the pit lane. There is Balestri, and that, I think, is Grosskamp just dropping in behind him. Yes, it is. That was Grosskamp coming out from his second pit stop, half distance, and that is the battle for the lead. The A Sebi. And I think that's done. Oh, leader goes wide. All kinds of trouble there as Nacho Lopez gets involved. Balestri in strife then for a moment. Daniel Alesi right in the mix. Well, it's a very warm afternoon here, and you can understand people losing concentration. I think that's Robert Peach that's just at the head of this little group. And we'll wait for Balestri to go through. Adrian Bertin there as well. So let's pick up the leading battle for you. We're watching Alesi. Greiner, by the way, back up into 4th position. Let's see if we can pick up the German. Obviously had a problem earlier on. Is that Greiner on the back there? There's 6. Peach.
Greiner on the back straight, end of the back straight, hairpin now.
Greiner at the hairpin now, I'm told, and heading back towards us. So there is Greiner going through in the pink car. Now that's 4th position, and behind him is 5th, and that's Patrick Nahar, and he's qualified through from the quarters, and this is the battle to go through into the final. And you'd expect this to be fast and furious, and it is. the zero car. God, what a pass that is into the West Bend. Wow, we've not seen anything like that all this week. And Patrick Nahar, that was decisive. We literally have not seen that move pulled off anywhere. Well, not at all. Never mind as decisively as that. And if you're going to qualify through to the final, that is the overtake to do it with. That was outstanding stuff. How late did he leave his turning and his braking? Big squirt of power coming across the start-finish line. Wow. And that's put him into an automatic qualification position at the expense of Dominic Greiner, one of the favourites to go through here. And Greiner has not been his usual consistent self. A 19.4 last time around. Gilles Grosskamp a 19.5 in third position. Is he in trouble with tyres as well? Now, that is Nahar. We'll skip ahead a little bit, if you don't mind, Nathan, and try and pick up some of the other battles and just see what's going on. That is the leaders. You were on them spot on there, mate. Nacho Lopez in the red car has Gilles Grosskamp just going underneath him. That was the pole sitter. As Gilles goes through, he's in third place, and he would be the next target for Patrick Nahar, who is probably 4 seconds behind him though. So at the moment he looks okay. Leo Arnold there with the leader, I think, behind him and not really helping out. And now he pulls over. And allows the pass to be made. Right, 5 minutes to go, so that means it's another round of pit stops coming. Let's keep an eye on the pits. And straight away into the pits. That's the second place car of Daniel Alesi. And immediately he drops back a position. That's because Dario Balestre hasn't pitted. Let's have a look at the pit lane entrance. In there went... Now that was Greiner, wasn't it? And also going out of the pits is Balestre, who retakes the lead. So Greiner's got a lap back now. That's disastrous for that man. And his chances of qualifying through to the final seem to be ebbing away. Patrick Nahar still in fourth position. Just on 4 minutes to go. Oh, big sideways moment there. Great save by that big sideways slide coming off the corner onto the pit straight. And again, you've got to think that things are getting a little hot and bothered out there. And that was our leader, Dario Balestre, almost spinning it away. And he's got Alesi right behind him. The next car back is the second place car. Through the hard chicane onto the pit straight. And they will complete their 53rd lap. Gilles Grosskamp still in third position. He goes across the line now. Patrick Nahar is way back. And he's got Adrien Bertin trying to hunt him down. But at the moment, that is a fruitless task. There are many seconds between those two cars. Oh! Off right in front of the leaders. Dominic Greiner's day just gets worse as his car grinds to a halt in the Kleine Chicane. So this now is about bragging rights and a slightly better position in the final for these two. Dario Balestre leading it out. from Daniele Alesi in second place on the Capricorn. Capricorn versus KM. KM leads it. Last 2 minutes. Gilles Grosskamp cruising around in third position at the moment, not under any pressure from Patrick Nahar, who is a good 3 or 4 seconds behind. But there is a battle now for fourth position as Adrien Bertin is closing in. Let's see if we can pick those guys up. Just 10 and 7 are the ones we're looking at. They've just gone through the start-finish line and onto the back straight. They'll be coming down to that hairpin in a moment or two. Green tail is Patrick Nahar. He's got him gone through the start-finish onto the back straight.
Orange following green tail.
It's the green tail followed by the orange car. There they are. And that is the battle for the final qualifying transfer spot. And all of a sudden, Patrick Nahar, he's fought so hard. He came through from the quarterfinals. Is he going to have it snatched away from him by Adrien Bertin? With just a couple of laps remaining. All eyes on this around the circuit. Knowledgeable spectators, of course, all involved in the sport. 1, maybe 2 laps to go. And Patrick Nahar's car is really looking loose in, through and out of the corners. Just can't get the grip from the rear end. And Bertin smells blood through the hard chicane down onto the pit straight. There'll be another lap for these two guys. And Bertin will have 266 metres from now. Oh, he's hit him. He's hit him. And goes through. I'm not sure he's going to be allowed to keep that. I don't think it was deliberate. There were real issues with the grip on the back of the car that he was trying to pass. And Patrick Nahar just couldn't get into the corner any quicker. And Bertin goes through and for the moment is scored in third place. Hang on, what's happened to Grosskamp? Grosskamp has disappeared. Grosskamp disappeared on the last lap. So Gilles Grosskamp, sitting in a comfortable third, has gone from the results. We need to find out what happened there. So let's have a rundown and see if we can find out what happened. There's going to be some repercussions, I'm sure, from the issues on the track. Now Gilles is still up top. What happened? What happened to Gilles at the end there?
The plug is broken. Yeah.
2 laps from the end.
First I thought it's empty, but there's still some fuel inside. But I don't know. Was also strange the whole run. Sometimes was a little bit more rich, sometimes a little bit more lean. Yeah, maybe we had only a bad low plug. And now, I don't know if we are in the final or not. I don't think so, because it's pretty close in the first semi.
Well, there was a bit of argy-bargy ahead of you, so I don't know what's going to happen about the places ahead and whether there'll be any penalties, but finished 5th. But it's going to be tight to qualify as a fast loser. Bad luck.
Yeah, really bad luck, but we will see what happens.
So a glow plug there for Gilles. And, oh dear, I wondered if his season had turned the corner here. Matt has been saying that he's got no luck but bad luck, and that has been borne out there.
Historically.
Yes, true.
I honestly thought he'd turned a corner this last 18 months. In fact, he has turned a corner this last 18 months. Gilles is getting what he deserves in recent times, and fantastic to see it. But this is the Gilles we're used to seeing, this kind of tragedy, and it's such a shame.
So the lineup for the final as it stands at the moment, this is provisional, will be on pole for the A final of 45 minutes. Dario Bellestri from Daniele Alesi on 2, Eric Dankel on 3, Biagio Spataro on 4, Alessio Mazzi on 5, Kyle Branson on 6, Alex Hagberg on 7, Adrien Bertin on 8, Patrick Nahar on 9, and Mark Green squeaks in on the 10th position. Wow. There's the top 8 on the screen. But that is something close to remarkable. no Robert Peach, no Gilles Grosskamp. That is, I think, a couple of shocks there. So the final to come in 20 minutes' time. Stay with us here live on rcracing.tv, powered by Protoform Race Bodies. And our thanks to EFRA. All of the results, of course, on the EFRA.ws site. I have to say I didn't notice him drop out there. That was such a bad play. Oh, wait a minute. They're resetting it. If they DQ Bertan for that thing, rather than just
do you want to keep going?
Time penalty.
That nice light, by the way. Do you want to keep going while I...
Well, we're just waiting to see a reset on the final here. And we're just wondering if there's any sanction going to be taken against Adrien Bertan for that bump and run on the last lap. So that is the result of the semi-final. Just come back up on the screen. I think Gilles Grosskamp is out of luck either way because he only did 62 laps. And Hagberg did 63, as did Green. So both Robert Peach and Gilles Grosskamp are out of it. They were a lap shy of the guys from the first heat. Now, what I don't know, of course, is what will happen if Adrien Bertan is given a penalty for that bump and run. 20-second penalty, I'm hearing, but that's unofficial.
Update.
20-second penalty, I'm hearing.
No. Okay, so there's a 10-second penalty on Bertan for the push on Patrick Nahr.
Right.
And then they're just doing calculations again to see what that means.
Right.
Back with you in a second.
Okay, well, that will leave Nahr and Bertan swapped around. So Nahr will be in third in that heat and Bertan fourth. But with 63 laps under his belt, well, he's in a qualifying position anyway, so it doesn't change. He will still qualify for the final. And the big news then is Gilles Grosskamp, number one seeded driver, coming into these finals, and Robert Peach, who has just got a great record, not making it through to the final. And well done to Patrick Nahr, who was a quarter finalist and transferred through into the semis and will make it as the third place qualifier from the A semi. That's pretty good drive from Patrick, and he'll have to be watched in the final. So, change of position, but not of qualifiers as far as I can see there. We'll confirm that when we come back for coverage of the final of the EFRA European Championship IC Touring Car 10ths, powered by Protoform Race Bodies. Come back and join me, John Hindhoff, and the rest of the team in about 20 minutes' time.
one from Germany, one from France, one from Denmark.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome along to our live broadcast sponsored by a Protoform race bodies of the EFRA 1/10 IC Touring Car Championships here at the Stirring at Graz in the Styria region of Austria. Beautiful weather once again, temperatures touching 30 degrees Celsius, and this 266 metre circuit is ready for the 10 best drivers as determined by this week's practice, qualifying, and indeed all the racing that we've done up to this point. Before we get into the important formalities of taking you through what's going on, we've got something very important to do for you, the viewer and listener. Matt, you've been running a competition over the last few weeks to win an absolutely fabulous prize, a Schumacher MI5. And what have you been asking people to do?
Well, interestingly, you should ask. We have been asking people, as I just check if anyone can hear me, and I don't think you can hear me. You should be able to hear me now. Can you hear me now, John?
Yes.
You can hear me, and I can hear me, which is fantastic. We've been asking people to go to our website and find out about the team drivers of Schumacher. One of their favourite animals, one of their favourite sports,
Right.
and one of their favourite holiday destinations.
Right, okay. And you've got the answers then, have you?
And then go to the Facebook group and simply post those 3 words. Location, animal, sport.
That's why we've been getting those really weird emails coming in. Okay, that
yeah.
makes perfect sense.
Indeed.
So somebody knew somewhere what the answers were. So have we got a winner? Did somebody get all 3 of them right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Shockingly, somebody didn't get them all right.
Did anybody get anywhere near? Did loads of people get 1?
No. Shockingly, loads of people didn't get 1. but somebody got 2.
No way.
So I think that it's only fair that they be crowned the winner of the Schumacher MI5.
So tell me who it is then.
It's hang on. Don't
Weren't you supposed to give me a gold envelope?
I did say I was going to give you a gold envelope, didn't I?
Yeah. So what did you do with the envelope?
It's been a really tough day.
It has. You've been busy.
It's been a really tough day. It's a screwed up bit of paper I shoved in your back pocket. Do you remember?
Next to me passport.
Look
That
at
could have gone anywhere. Apparently you can only fold a piece of paper 8 times.
You said that's a myth.
I know, I could only do 7 on this one. So it says here in green ink, which always worries me just a tiny bit, the winner of the Schumacher MR5 with 2 correct answers, rabbit and tennis. The place, by the way, was Wales. So if you had put Wales, rabbit and tennis, you would have won outright. But we're going to give it to the person who was closest, who got rabbit and tennis, and a roll of the drums. It is Merck Wignall. I don't know where you are, Merck, but you have just won yourself Schumacher MI5, which is worth about 400 quid, apparently. So well done to you. More competitions coming on rcracing.tv over the next few months.
Can I just say, stay tuned and you might be able to win yourself Thunder Power Electronics to put inside.
Ooh,
that.
Even better.
Yes.
I'm going to take a walk down to the grid because if you haven't been watching already, it is a very odd grid situation here. Because I've got to go a long way back to go back to grid slot 10. And over here will be Alain Bertin, who should have been a bit higher up the grid actually, but he was penalised 10 seconds, I was right, for a bit of a bump and run at the end of the last semi-final. He will line up here on the KM chassis. Alan, who was a world champion back in 06, I believe, will start here. Can't even see the front of the grid from here, of course. In grid slot 9, which is just here, that'll be the first of the Brits, Mark Green, who got in, just squeezed in to the final as one of the fastest losers from the B semi. So he'll line up here. In grid slot number 8, and this is a great story, this is Patrick Nehart, who came up through the quarters to the semis and then the semis to this final spot here, and that fantastic manoeuvre in the semi-final that if you haven't seen it yet, it will be on the archive at the end of today. Grid slot number 7 will be Alex Hagberg. He will start here. The young Swede really hasn't had the best of weeks so far, but I think he'll be happy that he's in the final. Grid spot number 6, another Brit, Kyle Branson, makes it into this spot here, just sort of sweeping off round the final corner of the track. Now this to me isn't the worst place to start, because you can line your car up here and fire it straight down the road, and that is exactly what Alessio Mezzio will be doing when the hooter goes off. He starts in 5th position, one of 4 Italians on the grid here. In grid slot number 4, another one of the Italians, and that is the countryman of the previous, obviously, sitting right at the edge of the pit lane, and that will be Spataro, who will be firing. I don't know how he's going to set that one up from here. And now we get to the top of the grid. Eric Dankel will start here. He is the man who has broken the lap record more than anybody else this week. In fact, he's been the only person who has been at the top of the timing screens on the single lap. He's got it down to 18.1 seconds, but he's not had the consistency yet to really challenge at the front of the field. Then we get to position 2, a world champion in 2008, and that is yet another one of the Italians, and this time it's Daniele Alesi sitting right here in grid spot 2. And the man who was qualified at the head of the field, and possibly appropriately so, the only person who has won this European, the EFRA European 110th IC, who is in the final. He could make it 3 times. He's won it twice before, 06 and 08, I think, if my memory serves. And that is Dario Balestri. And he will be pointing straight towards that apex and making sure that nobody gets in front of him before that first corner. 45 minutes, though, means not just 3 pit stops, but somewhere closer to, what, 8 or maybe even 9. And if you put that in full-size terms, what I'm normally used to is watching, let's say, a 6-hour race for the World Endurance Championship off to Brazil the weekend of the 1st of September to do just that again for TV and radio. And given that those guys run about 45 minutes, we get 7, 8 or 9 pit stops depending on how many yellow flag periods they are. It's going to be exactly the same here over the 45 minutes. So this is almost like, if you like, a 6-hour race in full-scale terms. And this is where all the action will happen, in the pit lane. We've already seen it's quite narrow. It's difficult if someone's coming in front of you. If you're dropping the car after you've fueled it and sending it, it's very, very difficult to get a clear piece of pit road. And that means you can get caught up with someone else's pit stops. It would be called unsafe release in Formula 1, and there have been penalties applied for that as well. Before you even get to do that, at that end of the pit, it's tight coming in to the pits as well. And in addition to the fuel stops, which will happen around about every 5 minutes, about halfway through this race, we're going to have a tyre change, because there's no way that these hand-out foam tyres are going to last the whole of the 45 minutes. And that means that work has got to go on right there in that pit lane. And that's when you've got to really hope that your mechanic, his fingers, his eyesight, and all of his coordination is absolutely top-notch, because a dropped wheel nut or a wheel that disappears down the pit lane, a little bit of finger trouble, that's going to cost you all that time that you've fought so hard on the track to gain. So 45 minutes then, a real challenge for these 10 drivers. Only one driver has taken this championship before that's in the field, and if it's not the pole man that wins here today, there will be a new name on the trophy. The formalities are about to begin, and we'll get the drivers introduced, and hopefully, Matt, we might even get a chance to have a chat with 1 or 2 of them as they come out. And I've got a feeling before they go up onto the balcony, they are going to be introduced by our Master of Ceremonies. So you will have noticed when I ran down those 10, no Robert Peach, he didn't qualify, and no Gilles Grosskamp, the hot favourite coming into this. We thought his bad luck had changed earlier on in the weekend when he found the setup for his Shepherd chassis and really drove away with the qualifications. But unfortunately, he had a glow plug go down on him in the last 3 minutes, in fact less than that, last minute and a half of his semi-final. It cost him 2 laps, and it cost him a place in the final. I can see Eric Dankel just wandering out towards us. Let's I'm going to have a wander down the pit lane and see if we can pick up any of the guys who's standing there. I don't want to really rub it into too much to Gilles, but I wonder if we can grab him out. I'm not sure how close Nathan can get to me if I go down this far. Let's see. In fact, Gilles is already packed up and gone, I'm afraid, so we can't speak to him. I'm looking for the light blue t-shirt that is the trademark of Gilles Grosskamp. We've already got quite a good set of spectators standing here or sitting here waiting for this to get underway. A lot of people have stayed on for this, and on the far side of the circuit there's some locals come in as well. The drivers are down in amongst, well, the mechanics actually are in amongst the scrutineers. The drivers are being kept well out of the way at the moment. So if you are just joining us, welcome along to Austria and the Stir Ring.
Herr Robert Christian, willkommen zum Streckenposten. Herr Robert Christian.
It is the final of the EFRA European 1/10 IC Touring Car Championships, brought to you by Protoform. And surprisingly, seems as though everybody has disappeared from the area underneath the awnings, which, as it's so hot today, I'm very shocked at, to be honest. Full live coverage coming up, and if it's anything like the semi-finals, we are in for a treat. So, a Frenchman, a Swede, 2 Germans, 2 Brits and 4 Italians in the final. And the talking points as far as the equipment's concerned, well, 1 Mugen in the hands of Patrick Naher, and he knows how to use that, doesn't he? 2 X-rays, 2 KMs, both the KMs, only 2 KMs in the championship, 1 in 10th, 1 on pole, bracketing the rest of the field. 2 Serpents and 3 Capricorns. No Shepherds in there, and they were fancied for this championship. The marshal's being called out onto the circuit at the moment by our Master of Ceremonies. Could not have asked for better weather from the official part of the week onwards. A little bit of rain on Wednesday afternoon that stopped any running. We're expecting to run through till 7:30 at night, and really it was all done and dusted just after midday. Cost 1 or 2 of the drivers a little bit of track time. And for those of you perhaps new to RC racing, the marshals are taken from drivers who have already raced, and there's a very strict protocol, and the drivers from previous semi-finals and quarter-finals will have known, if they didn't qualify through, that they would be acting as marshals in this final. And to not do that is considered a massive breach of etiquette. So the marshals will wander out and put on their fluorescent jamage. For this final, it's the national organisations who provide the marshals. So there can be no scores settled here in the final by anyone who feels slightly slighted by anything that's gone on before. So the nations of Europe together for the EFRA 1/10 IC Touring Car European Championships for 2013. 9 out of the 10 drivers would be new names on the trophy. The driver's about to come out.
All the drivers for the final, please come here, come on the green. The picture, all the photographs that are here, you can come now over here, you can take pictures. That's the only option you have to make pictures before the start.
So the drivers sheepishly make their way out to the Omega Loop. The formalities of the photos just taking place. I'm going to nip into the back of that and see if we can grab a word with one or two of the drivers. So photographs for posterity and for the magazines. There's one short there, even I can count that. There's only 9 out of 10. I think it's Adrian Bertin who's not there. Putting them in number order, and here is Adrian. Almost in number order. So we'll let the guys get their pictures and then see if we can grab a couple of the drivers. It is steaming hot. I can feel the heat coming up from the tarmac. The organisers rightly getting in the pictures as well for this European Championship. This is the 4th time they've had a European Championship here. Let's see if I can grab any of the guys. See if I can grab Alex before I nip over. Grab a quick word, Alex, just before you go back in. If I just grab you out here so we can put you on camera as well. Okay, no problem, the car's got to go back. Just before he dashes up to the top. Very quick word. First of all, congratulations getting through to the final. My God, it's hot here, and the competition is hot as well. Position 7, not I know where you wanted to be, but you've made the final, so you're in with a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long final, anything can happen, and if I drive clean without mistakes, I think I have a good chance for at least top 3.
Added pressure of pit stops with tyre changes here. You're going to have to do a tyre change. Will that just be about halfway through, or will you decide when the tyres have gone off?
It's going to be at the 20-minute mark, most likely.
And tactics in terms of running fuel, that is going to be massive here today. Everyone in the semis ran pretty much exactly 5 minutes. Do you dare take a chance on this?
Yeah, I mean, it should be fine with 5 minutes, but if your engine's too rich, it's going to be on the limit for sure.
And this heat means you've got to richen it up a little bit?
Yeah, for the duration of the final, yeah.
Okay, we're going to let you go. Get yourself in the zone. Well done. Alexander Hagberg from Sweden, one of the 10 drivers who could potentially be the European champion in, what, an hour or so's time from now. Clearly, everybody desperate to get back and begin their preparations there, so apologies for not grabbing anyone else, but I think you could almost feel the tension in what Alex was saying to us as he was standing there out on the track. So anybody who doesn't think this is tense and real motorsport, think again. We're 3 minutes before the warm-up starts. We're live from Austria for the EFRA European Championships, the 1/10th IC touring cars that have provided already such splendid entertainment this week. And everything's reset to 0. So in theory, everyone has the same chance here, but as you saw from the grid walk, Adrien Bertin at the back of the grid, possibly the most experienced driver here, world champion back in 04, and I think I might have gave him that for a couple of years later than that. He won't thank me for reminding everybody it was 04 when he was world champion almost 10 years ago in this category. Just the 2 KM chassis, and one is on pole, one is in 10th. The other world champion in the field in 2nd position, that is Daniele Alesi, world champion in 08 on the Capricorn, one of 4 Italians on the grid. His countryman Dario Balestri on the other KM is the only European champion, 06 and 07 for Dario, who does really look like a racing driver. Just to make sure Nick gets his.
He'll appreciate that.
Yeah, that's the phrase that pays for Nick, isn't it? I just have a little feeling that Eric Dankel's going to put it all together here. We know how quick he is, but can he last for 45 minutes. And watch the guys further down as well. Kyle Branson and Mark Green, the two Brits. But Patrick Nahir, who's qualified through from the quarterfinals on the Mugen, quite unusual to be able to go through 2 rounds in this kind of quality. He's the only person in this championship who's qualified through twice, and that in the context of what we're seeing, you'd normally expect to see more people doing that, but that, I think, a testament, Matt, to just how difficult and how quick this track is.
Patrick becomes the bump-up king with just a double bump-up. That's it, and that's pretty spectacular. And Manuel Huber from last year's championship makes me think, and I have thought this for a while, that 45-minute nitro races mean to me that names you haven't mentioned all weekend tend to be the ones that come out on top and surprise you. I really think that that's what's going to come from this race.
Well, that would be Patrick, because everybody else has been there or thereabouts. You could possibly say Biagio Spataro, but he has been a solid contender. Mazzio, of course, we've mentioned for the wrong reasons, in that he was disqualified in his first qualifying run.
He's battled the odds with that, yes.
But he's got his head around that, and he got through he was directly into the semis.
Well, we knew he was fast because he TQ'd last year in Italy, in Casino, where he's from. So we knew he was fast, but then when it came to racing, it all fell apart for him. So again, we're going to see him in racing.
It would be surprising if, with the 4 Italians in the field, one of them couldn't pull something out of the bag here.
We were just saying, weren't we, that it's Italian dominated with 4 Italians. That's the most represented nation in this race. It is an Italian dominated field of racing, although it's great to see a Brit in there, I think I might say.
2 Brits, of course, with Mark Green and Kyle Branson, both in with a chance as well. They are both proficient racers, good racers, and given half a chance there, they'll be sniffing around. From 9th, Mark Green, does he get a chance of has he got a chance maybe for a 3rd place? Maybe not, but Kyle Branson, you'd think, has a chance of the podium, maybe better.
Well, Mark Green and Kyle Branson both in the 1/8 final in Halifax, but both of them came together, I think, and undid that. Both had equal opportunities of making it happen and undid their opportunities together.
Want to have your thoughts as the regular here against someone who is on his first time here about the variety of chassis that we've got. Just the one Mugen for Patrick Nahir.
Yeah.
2 Serpents, both of the KMs that are in the championship have made it.
Yep.
Only 2 X-rays here.
Yeah, that's the shocker. You would expect to see, I would expect to see four X-rays. I think this is not a good result for X-ray. I don't think they will be happy.
But no Shepherd at all.
Well, all their eggs in one basket with Shepherd.
With Shields Grosskamp.
You've got that there in front of you. How many Mugens?
1.
1 Mugen, because Peach
didn't make it either. Exactly.
Peach didn't make it. So Peach is the Mugen hope, and Yillis, obviously the Shepherd hope. Both of those didn't come through, and a shocker for both of those brands.
So Capricorn with 3, 1st, 2nd, and 6th. So Capricorn's winning both the semi-finals. That's a fabulous result for them.
Yeah. Of course, but of course the biggest party is going to be with KM. I think they've achieved everything they want already.
Yeah.
Every car that turned up got into the final, despite Adrian Bertin's penalty. And you saw the effort he put in to get into the final in the semi.
Yeah, I should say, sorry, Capricorn won one of the semi-finals, KM, of course, the other. Dario Balestri, then, tell me about this guy, European champion in 06 and 07, the only man in the field who has won this championship before. So, all right, it's a few years ago, but clearly he's got championship mentality.
I think everyone sees him, and I've always thought of him as kind of like, from an electric background, the Mark Reinhard of Nitro Touring Car.
Wow.
He's just a born racer. He's just a fast guy. He just, like Nick says, he looks like a racer and he acts like a racer.
So what's he been doing since 07 when he last won this championship? Because he hasn't had the success here. He's obviously been doing other things as well on the KM. He's been dialed in all this week, but I wouldn't say he's been the quiet man, but he hasn't set any of the races alight that we've seen.
No, I think a lot of racers have had a lot of bad luck, but then a lot of racing has been changed in the last 18 months with the advent of controlled tyres, and a lot of these previously dominated racers have had to change their game completely. Dario being one of those.
We heard just briefly there from Alex Hagberg about the heat and potentially having to run the engines a little more rich to make sure they get through at the end. 45 minutes. Let's make no bones about this. These little engines revving to 40,000 revs a minute and above. Just over an inch and a half, so what, 2.1 cc of raw power to last 45 minutes and give any kind of performance. You're going to have to look after them, and clearly then running them rich, the fuel helps to lubricate that very, very fast moving piston. That might just throw some of those fuel calculations out.
And you don't want to be spending any time on your roof, do you?
No.
Because it's going to be sluggish, and of course you don't want to flame out. And I think that you increase your chances of that happening if you end up on your roof.
Well, explain for people, because I'm sure we have some new people who are following this today, because I'm involved. And so flame out means the engine stops. Why?
It can happen for a number of reasons. It can happen because you obviously run out of fuel, or it can happen, and this is where it gets too technical for me to explain, but it can happen just because your spark...
The glow plug fails or something like that, which is what happened to Shell's glow plug.
Yeah, and we still don't know the full story there.
And you also, when you flip over, the reason it's if you flip over, you then risk getting an airlock or something in the fuel line.
Indeed.
And then not getting the fuel through. There's no fuel pump on this, of course. It's just pulled through by the vacuum of the induction of the engine through the carburetor, effectively. And these little engines are very, very hard working indeed. Well, time to close the commentary box door so that I can see the screens in here. And that means we're not too far away from getting the practice for this final underway. Chance for the drivers to make those final last-minute adjustments. You can probably hear the engines revving. They're trying to clear out those glow plugs, get a good, clean running engine. Now, at this point, Matt, in terms of what you can do to the car, in the pit lane, very, very limited indeed. It might be a little tweak on the caster and camber. It might be a little tweak on the mixture, but other than that, really, it's run what you brung now.
I think you've got to resist every urge to do anything. To just resist. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a calm enough person to do anything like this, but these mechanics and drivers, they have to have nerves of steel, don't they? They have to have tightened everything. But we've seen the silly mistakes that happen early on. Yeah,
Patrick Nair is not out of the pit lane as yet. So 9 of the 10, and was that him just sprinting out? No.
Well, what we could see is a 10-minute delay, which he is allowed to call. If he's got technical problems, we can have a 10-minute delay. That will mean he will start from the back of the grid.
Well, he's in 8th position at the moment, so not too much to lose. We don't get times for this warm-up session. And what the drivers are doing now, they are mandated to put a brand new set of the foam tyres on the car for this final, and they will tear around, putting as much load on the tyres as they can to try and get a little bit of wear on the tyres. Now that sounds odd, but of course you set the car up with toe-in at the back and camber at the front, and you're trying then just to settle the tyres onto your suspension setup and effectively wear them a little bit, because that will give you the best handling car. Now, when you come to change those tyres halfway through the race, you're going to have a brand new set of tyres on. The car will handle markedly different. So after that 20-minute pit stop, be prepared to see people struggling.
Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah.
Struggling with the handling.
I've seen them. I've seen people who are ahead and then change their tyres and then completely lose the plot. As somebody at the end of the straight is on the grass right now.
Let's see who that is as they come round this time. Will they peel into the pits?
That is car number 6.
How can you tell that? That is amazing. And Patrick Nair is out. Kyle Branson then it was who was on the roof. Not a good start for the Brit, but he's gone back out onto the circuit again right in front of us. Our commentary box right at the end of the pit lane and pit out. So dare I ask you for any predictions here, other than it's going to last 45 minutes and it's very hot out there?
I wouldn't. I think I would like to maintain what I've said, that it's going to be somebody we haven't talked about a great deal all week.
Well,
and I would include Carl Branson in that. And
and Mark Green, actually, yeah.
And Ilacy as well. Mark Green, Ilacy, and perhaps for a really, really long shot, Mazio and Patrick Nahar. And now I realise I have mentioned...
That's half the field now.
The field there. So...
Do you get that from Nick? Because he does that a lot. When you say, so, just one to win, and he runs down 3/4 of the class. Yeah. That is a Damon thing, no doubt. Hello there. You're watching the final phases of warm-up of before the final of the European Championships for IC 110 touring cars under the auspices of EFRA, of course, without whom we would not be here. So thanks to our colleagues at EFRA for what has been a fantastic summer of live RC Motorsport and RCRacing.tv. It's John Hindhaugh, Matt McCullum and Nathan on the camera. Yeah, almost time to press record. I think we can probably press record now, actually, Nathan. As our Proto Form coverage of this 2013 Championship, European Championship, is about to come to the end of what's been a fantastic, 4 days of racing. And we only got here, most of the competitors were here practicing on Monday. Oh, now here's somebody doing a practice start. That's Balestri doing... Is he doing a practice start, or is he...
Oh! You see his mechanic put his hands to his head in relief that didn't go very, very badly.
Well, I thought he was going to do a practice start out of his start box there, but I think the car might have just died, and he very nearly got collected. And the kind of speed there, that would be probably 45, 50 miles an hour. We're touching 65 miles an hour under the RC Racing TV banner on the back straight.
Yes.
And I think that's probably 40 miles an hour. That to come away, both of those cars to have come away with any damage, if there had been an incident there, would have been lucky.
You wouldn't have fixed it in 10 minutes.
No.
I think that would have been it for the pole man. So, very lucky there. Alexander Hagberg getting a lot of love from our viewers. Not unsurprisingly, our Swedish viewers.
Yep.
Hello to Erika Hellquist. Yes, very pleased that you interviewed the Swedish trendsetter that is Dr. Hagberg, who is the carrier of X-Ray's hopes.
Yes.
We wish him well. Along
with Biagio Spataro from Grid 4, the Italian. Let's, for those of you just joining us, run it down again. The world champion from 2004 for KM on the back of the grid for France. Adrien Bertin will start on the 0 car from Grid 10, way around the back. Well, still in the fact, the end of the Hart chicane. On the Serpent for Great Britain, number 9 will be Mark Green. Number 8 is Patrick Naher. On the Mugen, the Sol Mugen, the German, having qualified up from the quarterfinals to Grid 8 in the final. Grid 7, Alex Hagberg on the X-Ray for Sweden. Grid 6, Kyle Branson on the Capricorn for Great Britain. Grid 5, Alessio Mazzio overcoming his disagreements with the scrutineers in the early part of the week. The Serpent now ready to roll, and he is qualified Grid 5 for Italy. Also for Italy in Grid 4, Biagio Spataro on the second of the X-Rays. Grid 3, Eric Dankel, the fastest man of the week by just a margin. 18.184, the championship record here, set this week by Eric yesterday in one of the qualifying sessions. He's brought that down from 18.5 seconds in fairly large chunks at times. The Capricorn driver representing Germany. And the top 2 for Italy, another Capricorn chassis, the 08 world champion Daniele Alesi. And the only person ahead of him is the only person who has won this championship before in the 10 that are on the grid. The European champion from 06 and 07 on the second of just 2 KMs in the whole championship, and they both made the final. The fourth of 4 Italians contesting the EFRA European Championship for IC 110th touring cars. The poleman is Dario Balestri, and you'd expect him to get a decent start. What will he be like if he is challenged? I think the worry for those at the front, top 3, possibly top 4, Matt, will be if they do get into a battle, there's some very good drivers behind them who will take advantage of any rubbing or barging that goes on, and then trying to make those positions back, as we've seen this is a fast track. There's no big braking areas. There's no pointy, squirty bits.
Yep.
It's really all about taking momentum to the apex. It's difficult to pass here.
Indeed, yeah, and that's what Hagberg's going to be thinking very much. That if Balestri, and how did Balestri perform in his semi-final? He wasn't flawless, was he? I mean,
No.
There was some problems with cornering, I feel, but what's going to be in Hagberg's mind is that that's what he's going to be doing. He'll have no problem getting up to fourth, I reckon, but yeah, he's going to be thinking that he can get through if battles go wrong further up the field. Elliot Lindemood saying sorry for leaving so many comments. Elliot, don't apologise.
No, fine.
That's what keeps us running. The comments are the most important part of this. The interaction, that's brilliant. He thinks Patrick can pull it out.
Ooh.
And I have a sneaky suspicion that something could go Patrick's way, actually.
Well, Balestri in the semi racked off 64 laps in 20 minutes, 16.354 seconds. And it was 18-8, 18-5, 18-6, 18-6, 18-7, 18-6, 18-6, 18-5, 18-6, 18-4, 18-6. Seen a pattern there. Very, very consistent. 23 seconds comes into the pits, and then he's back down. 18-6, 18-6, 18-5, 18-6, 18-6. So pretty good in terms of racking that off. But there are people who can lap faster than that, and a couple of 3/10 faster. Now, whether they can do that on a consistent enough basis to get by him and pull away, that's the question.
That is the question. And I was just sparing a moment then for the grinder, who that shocked and disappointed. It went wrong for him.
Dominic Greiner really should have been in this final. You could say that of a number of people. Gilles Grosskamp missed out by a couple of laps on a technical, a bit of a nightmare in terms of his glow plug. And he missed out by a lap in the end. If he'd got one more lap in, he would have been in the final. Biggest disappointment for me out of that semi-final as well, the A semi-final, Robert Peach. He's just not been on form all week, has he? He's been okay, but you don't expect Robert Peach to be okay. You expect him to be battling at the front of the field, and he never has been.
Well, he had a nightmare back in Casino a year ago, so he's going through a tricky phase. So it happens to these drivers. The last time I saw him properly on fire was in Portugal with Nick and the team when they were covering the 1/8 Euros last year, when he won, of course, and did a fantastic job there. Absolutely amazing race.
So what's going on at the moment? We've got a countdown clock that's showing 20 minutes at the moment.
Well, no, I think we've got 2 minutes 45 now of warming up.
Fine. 45 minutes is on the clock. And don't forget, you can follow along on the timing.
I'll see if there is a delay.
And Matt is going to nip out to the timekeepers. We're just off to our right. Which probably means I can open the door of the commentary box again and make it less of a sauna. Although the sun's come round enough to be shining through the back of the door now. Well, at least we do get whatever breeze there is, and there's been precious little of that over the last 4 days. Off on the far side of the circuit towards the Remus curve onto the back straight. For the first time this week, there is a little bit of rustling in the leaves of the trees there. One of the plane trees just having a little bit of movement in it. That is the first time this week. It has been beautiful weather for those who have made the trip down, and many of them have, driving from all over Europe to take part in this. Well, I'm told Patrick Naher is running a Shepherd, and that's certainly not what's on the list, so I apologise. That is the information that I'm given from the organisers. Definitely a Mugen for Patrick on the list, so if I have been misled, I do apologise. We'll try and get to the bottom of that. So, are we on time? Start in 2 minutes, I've just heard.
The man says.
Right. We've got to hopefully get a clean first couple of laps. What we don't want to see is people's races ruined early on. But there is definitely, as Matt was saying, for the midfield guys, 5, 6, 7 and down over, there is an imperative to try and make up as many places at once. Alessio Mazzio comes out of 5, which is that start grid that is just on the outside of the turn onto the pit straight. Basically, he can point straight down the pit straight, have his wheels straight, and rocket straight out. There's a practice start there from grid 3 from Eric Dankel. And there you saw, I think that was Dario Balestri running through his grid area as well at speed, trying to clean it off. And does it again. Number of people doing that. That's very interesting because that's a wider line, as you can see from the darker area, than everyone else would be taking. I cannot even begin to describe the tension here. There's a big crowd, as you can see from the people on the fence line. The terrace in front of the secondary pits is filling up with connections from all of the drivers, many of whom have stayed around for this, even though that they've been out of the competition for some time. The pits are gradually being cleared up, and we are getting down to the serious business now. It's the Protoform coverage of the European Championship IC 110th Touring Cars. This EFRA European Championship live on rcracing.tv. Thanks to our colleagues at EFRA for a brilliant summer of RC Motorsport. There is Adrian Bertin's car in grid 10. Look how far away he is from Dario Balestri there on pole.
Patrick Nahar will start from the pit lane. He called a 10-minute delay.
And we are off and racing in the EFRA Europeans, and already there's a big battle for third position. And does it go the way of the fourth place man? I don't know, it doesn't. Biagio Spataro was having a good look there on Daniele Alesi, on Eric Dankel, excuse me, the Italian trying to make it a 1-2-3 for the home country. And as they go across the line, this is great news for Dario Balestri from pole, who leads it from Alesi in second, Dankel, Spataro, Mazzio, Branson, Hagberg, Green, Bertan and Patrick Nahir should have been in grid 8, but started from the pit lane after calling the technical. So here is the battle. Oh, and the lead is taken out. There's all kinds of carnage. Hagberg's gone through there. That's great for the 7th grid man. It was the 2nd place man that was taken out. Excuse me, there is Balestri. He's fine. That was Dankel and Alesi who came together. And into the pit lane straight away, one of the drivers there. Stop go for which number?
I will tell you any moment.
It's got surely.
Car number 3.
It's got to be Dankel.
Car number 3.
Biagio Spataro has dropped down as well. As he in the pits as well, getting some attention because he hasn't come through at the end of lap 3 yet, as the leader's already on lap 4. So there was the carnage we hoped we wouldn't see right at the start. The battle for second, too hot between Spataro and Dankel. And Dankel and Spataro both losing out, really. Daniele Alesi also involved in that, and he's down the field as well. So 2, 3 and 4 now, 8, 9 and 10. So here's the battles that we're looking at, and that's Hagberg now right in the hunt, the young Swede, in 3rd position with Mark Green, I think that is, on his tail. Yes, it is. Mark Green from 9th position, and Kyle Branson, the 2nd of the Brits, in 5th. What a run this has been, as the Swede runs off the track for the moment. But this is 3rd, 4th and 5th coming past us. It's Balestri from Mazzio, the 2 Italians getting away. We've had but 2.5 minutes and already controversy and drama in this 45-minute contest. 3rd, 4th and 5th then. Sweden versus the 2 Brits who are hunting as a pair at the moment. Hagberg, one of only 2 X-rays in this race, and the better placed of the 2 at the moment, with Spataro right at the back of the field. He is running again, however, but he's already a lap off the leader. That's going to be hard to make up unless there's carnage again. Now, where's Mark Green? Oh, no, he's still there. Just sitting in behind, and Kyle Branson. Dario Balestri got a storming start and has cleared out. Mazzio making the best of the incident. There is our leader through the ice curve and down towards the Fahrenlager curve, the pit hairpin. Through Amiga. And that's exactly what you want to be doing if you're in the lead at the moment. Get yourself into a rhythm. 18.4 last time around. Fastest man on the track was the leader, and he's done it 18.3.97 as he's already dealing with traffic.
Can I just confirm for the people asking on the stream, Patrick Nahr called the 10-minute delay, and so he started from the pit lane. Patrick Nahr.
And he is back up into 6th position, so the conflagration ahead of him has not done him any harm whatsoever. Here is the battle for 3rd place. Thank you, Nathan. As we still see the Swede Hagberg as he comes through in 3rd. Mark Green and Kyle Branson both in very close company there. The yellow car is green. I know that doesn't make sense, does it? The green car's Hagberg, the yellow car's green, and Kyle Branson's in the white car. And look how difficult it is to even put a challenge in, never mind to make a clean pass, as Green goes right across the curbs there. You can do that, they're pretty flat concrete. You've got to be careful though that you don't spin up the wheels and lose traction. And Green now beginning to come under pressure from his countryman Kyle Branson. Oh, there was a thought there, wasn't there? Just a little thought. Oh. And drifted wide in West Bend, and the two Brits have done it again!
That's exactly what they did before.
They've done it again, come together. Green is running again. Let's have a look behind and see if Branson has rejoined as well. He has. And Branson comes straight into the pits. 5 minutes. That is, I think, a regular pit stop. And he's gone. Oh, and a spin right in front of him. Was that Hagberg?
No, that was Patrick Nahr.
No, it's Patrick Nahr. Sorry. I just saw the green there and was taken by it. So at the start of the pit stops then, Dario Balestri leads it. Remember this from Alessio Mazzio in 2nd. Hagberg holds on to 3rd from Mark Green in 4th. Branson still in 5th position. Daniele Ialesi is back up into 6th now ahead of Nahir, Dankel, Bertan, and Biagio Spataro still a lap away from the rest of the field. Who's getting the stop and go there? That was the 9 car. That was Mark Green. Mark Green got the stop and go. Well,
it was deemed to be his mistake in the 8th final as well, unfortunately.
Well, I mean,
it was his mistake.
He lost control of the car.
His mistake coming onto the straight in the 8th final in Halifax, and he came together with Kyle Branson, and it was all over. Oh dear.
Well, that's taken him right out of it now. So it's Balestri, Mazzio, Hagberg, Branson, Alesi now back up to 5th position after the first round of pit stops. 6 minutes 30 gone. Just under 38.5 to go now. That's your leader, Dario Balestri, on one of 2 KMs in the race, and he's never been headed, even on the pit stop exchange. Now behind him, his countryman should be following through. Look at the lead that Balestri has got. That is the 5 of Alessandro Mazzio. Takes a very different line to everybody else through the Amiga corner. He really pulls it tight to the right hand side, doesn't let it go out in the middle. Just watch as he comes through onto the pit straight now, through the left. Watch this next right-handed complex. He keeps it tight all the way through. Everyone else lets it ride out and makes that a 2 apex corner, but not this lad. But it served him well, and you can see, can't you, that he's precision pitch perfect at the moment and prepared to take a bit of curb. 3rd place then should be Alexander Hagberg now. Watch for the green car going through underneath us. There he is, on cue. And Hagberg now beginning to try that tighter line as well. Remember, pit stops for fuel about every 5 minutes, and tyres will need to be changed about half distance. And the issue with changing your tyres at half distance as opposed to the start at the start, you had plenty of time to run the tyres in and get them cambered to your suspension settings. You'll put a brand new set of tyres on which you are not allowed to touch at all. So when that comes around, you will have just that, a brand new set of tyres which are not matched to your suspension settings. And for the first couple or 3 minutes, in fact possibly even as much as the first 5 minutes, you'll be just getting used to that car settling into those foam tyres.
Zach Clark just commented on the YouTube stream. Is this live right now? You better believe it, Zach. This is live right now, thanks to Protoform and thanks to EFRA.ws. This is live. It's the EFRA 110th IC Touring Car European Championships 2013. And it's Saturday. It is
just coming up to 21 minutes past 4 in Central Europe. And we're watching the battle just outside the top 3 at the moment as they go by us now. Kyle Branson and Daniele Alesi, the 2 white cars, with ahead of him actually Alexander Hagberg, beginning to be caught by this pair. It's John Hindhaugh and Matt McCullum along with Nathan on the pictures. And we're going to have a 3-car battle. Oh, half spin by Alesi, who masterfully regains control. All of the skill of the 2008 world champion on the Capricorn needed there to keep him in with a shout. Hagberg is in 3rd. He is the green car coming onto the pit straight now. The white car behind him is Kyle Branson, just beginning to get back into his rhythm. We're about 2 or 3 laps away from the next set of pit stops. Dario Balestra leads from Alessandro Mazzio. This is the battle, the closest battle on the circuit at the moment. 3rd, 4th and 5th. Oh, bit of a battle beginning to heat up behind with Patrick Naher and Eric Dankel, I think. 2 cars fairly close together. And as I said that, one of them must have pitted. Yes, they have. It was Eric Dankel who dived into the pits. Apologies, Nathan, for throwing you a curveball. That is Mark Green in 7th position. Eric Dankel has rejoined behind him after the pit stops. And there, coming out of the pits, was Hagberg. So second set of pit stops coming through about every 5 minutes. The number 4 is Biagio Spataro, had an awful opening lap. And that is still a lap away from everyone else. Spataro, not happy, I don't think, got tied up in someone's accident at West Bend the first time around. So let's pick up our leader, Dario Balestri. Coming through the pack, he's going to have to deal with traffic shortly. And here he comes, well remembered. That is the KM, one of 2 in the race, one of 2 in the championships. 89 cars, 2 KMs, they both make the final. Balestri leading at the moment on lap number 36. Just over 11.5 minutes completed. Onto the back straight. He's about 4 seconds ahead of Alessio Mazzio, and if we just look back as he comes onto the straight, we'll show you what 4 seconds looks like. There goes the leader. And there, well, that's closed down a little bit. That's not 4 seconds this time as the 5 of Mazzio goes through, and I'll tell you why not, because Mazzio has just put a cracking lap in, and he's beginning to close down on the leader. The leader will have traffic shortly as well. Hagberg in the green car is the next car up. There is the traffic that has to be dealt with by the leader. And that is Mark Green, who will go a lap down. Needs to be aware the leader's behind him. He's trying desperately to stay on the lead lap at the moment, the Englishman. Or the Brit, sorry. And the referee over the PA says, much as Eduardo Freitas, the leader is behind you, and as Mark dutifully pulls out of the way in the West Bend, thank you, says our referee. There is a skill, as in any form of motorsport, to allowing yourself to be passed without losing too much time, as well as there is in passing without losing too much time. So 13 minutes now. And this is the portion of the race where You really just want to get into a nice rhythm. 18.5 last time around by the leader. 18.6 by Matteo in second. 18.5 by Hagberg. 18.9 by Branson. 18.6 by Dankel. Dankel still has the fastest lap of the race in 18.357, but we know he can go a couple of tenths quicker than that and has done this week. Dankel down in 5th position, but still on the lead lap. Only 6 on the lead lap at the moment, as we'll take a look back from Matteo towards Hagberg and find the Swede. As Matteo comes through, once again looking for the green car. That's Spataro, I think. That's the number 2. No, that was the 5, sorry. Don't second guess yourself, John. That is Hagberg, though, for sure. Alexander Hagberg then just taking a bit of curb coming out of the Hart curve. Starting already with only 14 minutes gone to get understeer on that X-ray. You can see him having to put a lot more steering in through the medium speed corners. Watch here as he comes out of this right-hander. He's really got the lock on, and there as well onto the pit straight. That would suggest to me that these tyres are beginning to go away, perhaps even earlier than they expected, although they did do an extra 10 minutes, of course, at the start of the race. And that may have thrown 1 or 2 calculations out in terms of tyre wear.
You know what, John? People are wondering if they changed the tyres during the 10 minutes to put a bit of ground on both tyres, and that may well have been allowed.
Well, that would have been a brilliant idea if anybody did that.
The one thing Patrick Nahr wouldn't have been able to do, though, obviously, with his car having an operation done on it.
Well, scrubbing in the tyres like that, I mean, that would be a great idea. Into the pits for Hagberg, right on the 15 minutes. He gets a squirt of nitro and he's gone. That was a pretty decent stop there. The anatomy of a good pit stop. You watched it right there with Hagberg. And Dario Balestri, our leader, is in and out of the pits. And for the first time, Alessio Matteo is leading. But he pits now. So who's going to come round in the lead? It should be Matteo that regains the lead. Spinner right in front of us.
That's car 4 all over the place.
And that says Spataro. Balestri's gone back through in the lead. Matteo second. Still Hagberg third. Hagberg the first of the leaders to pit there. Kyle Branson still in 4th place. Dankel in 5th. Mark Green just off the lead lap. No, he's back on the lead lap now. Just. So in that pit stop exchange, isn't that interesting? Mark Green got back in front of the leader. So Balestri clearly didn't have the best of...
Shows how tight it still is.
Well, yes. So is that Balestri? Yes, it is. Matteo goes through in second. There's the number 1 car. And he's got traffic ahead of him. And Patrick Nahir is off the lead lap, just behind the leader. Wonder if he dare try and get his lead back. Through they all go. What do you make of the opening 16 minutes then, Matt? And Balestri's done exactly what he needed to do. Got a clean start and he's established himself at the front. Being slightly held up at the moment though. He won't like this.
Yeah, and he's by no means run away with it, has he? He's by no means. This race is in no way over. There's also some speculation that potentially Bertin will not change his tyres. Adrien Bertin may not change tyres.
Wow.
I don't think it's mandatory for them to change
No, it
tyres.
isn't. Absolutely not.
I've been at races before where Adrian's been looking after drivers with his engine knowledge and he's recommended keep hold of those tyres, don't change them, just go with it. So if he lives by what he preaches, then I think he's just going to keep going.
That'll save him a lot of time. He's off the lead lap at the moment. In fact, he's a couple of laps off the lead at the moment. But he will get a lot of that back. The question is, what's, the last 10 minutes, what are you going to be like with 35 minutes of running on the tyres?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be like driving a drift car? Somebody's got to stop go, and that was the 0 car. Then that was Bertin. Adrien Bertin with a stop and hold for 7 seconds. The Italians lead it then. Dario Bellestri from Alessio Mazzio. Hagberg for Sweden in third. Then Kyle Branson in fourth position. Ahead of Eric Dankel, the German. Patrick Nahe in sixth. Mark Green's dropped down to seventh now after that penalty. Daniele Alesi in eighth. Adrien Bertin ninth. And bringing up the field is Biagio Spataro. And I think that 4 car may have stopped. I haven't seen him being scored a lap for a little while. And indeed, no, he's dropping further away. So a masterclass at the front of the field at the moment for the European champion from 06 and 07. Can he make it 3 championships? It is super hot now. This is the hottest we've had it here all week. And Dario Bellestri leading then. Battle is for 4th position now out on the track. 6 and 3, Kyle Branson and Eric Dankel. And I'll try and pick them up for our intrepid cameraman. He tends to be so good, he does it better than I can. So here they come. That's 9 and 5. So that's second place, Mazzaro, the white car. Mazzio, rather, the white car. So let's just go back from cars,
him. Yep, going over the
and
timing being now.
They're a long way back. They're a long way back. 2 cars together. There they are. That is the battle between... Oh, and of course, as soon as we get to it, doesn't the 3 car pull in? Eric Dankel bails out of that. Oh, that's messy. And he's going for tyres. He's going for tyres exactly on the 20 minutes. You can see there the wrench is going on. This is not the word of a moment. And they are doing both sides. Have to really with spec tyres that you can't scrub in. And you can see there's a tyre change going on ahead of him as well, but it's much slower. That's an excellent run.
Impressive.
Did you notice how he blipped the throttle as they were turning it over to keep the engine clean?
Yep.
That was really nice. So Eric Dankel then on new form.
And how's he going to perform now?
Well, watch these next few laps because the handling of the car will be tricky. Not allowed to turn the tyres down. They are handout tyres, which means spec tyres. 62 at the front and 64 at the back, but they are true to that. So Mazzio from Mark Green now in second place, and that must be because of the pit stops for tyres. So Ballestri's taken tyres as well, but he's dropped way down to 7th. So that was a longer pit stop. I wonder if that was Ballestri's guys that were struggling there just in front of Eric Dankel. And Ballestri's lost a lap. He's lost several laps on that tyre change, but shouldn't need tyres before the end of the race now. 20 minutes. Leaves 25 to go. They did warm up and 20 minutes of the race. That kind of makes sense.
Green goes in.
Mark Green comes in from second place. See if we can have a quick look down on the pit lane and see if they're doing tyres for Green. So we follow the leader through. And Mark Green's car, yes, is being worked on just there at the back of things. The bright coloured machine. Oh, there it is. Going out again. And that seemed quick as well, to be honest. And he's got out ahead of Dario Bellestri.
Yes.
So our runaway leader has lost it all from the pit stop that was scheduled for tyres. So Alessio Mazzio leading the field by a lap now, with Daniele Alesi in second place. So it's the number 5 car that leads. I wonder if Mazzio hasn't done tyres, because all of a sudden he's out with a phenomenal lead. a lap and 3 or 4 seconds for the number 5 car. There he is. Wow. What a turnaround in the middle part of this race. We've still got over 20 minutes to go. So 4 more pit stops for fuel. Everybody took tyres, well, the leaders took tyres at the middle of the race. And I think Adrien Bertin must have as well, because he's not closed on them. So battles there are few at the moment, I'm afraid. The tactics has been what have won the day at the moment. Daniel Alesi is in danger of going, I think, another lap down, is he? There's the leader across the line. No, Daniele's in there, just behind, in the group behind, but they're all at least 1 and some 2 laps down. So let me give you a rundown as we just have 24 minutes to go in the EFRA European Championship A Touring Car 10th IC Final, brought to you by Protoform Race Bodies and by EFRA here on RC Racing TV Live. Alessio Mazzio on 76 laps leads the motor race, with Daniele Alesi number 2 in second on 75 laps. Also on 75 laps, Eric Dangle in third with the number 3. A lap further back is Kyle Branson in 4th, and Patrick Nair in 5th on the number 8. Also another lap further back is Mark Green in the 9. Dario Balestri, long-time leader, now only on 75 laps to the leader's 78 when he went by last time. So 3 laps, some almost a minute, 54 seconds, lost on that tyre change, if indeed the tyre change was made by Alessio Mazzio. Coming down to the next set of pit stops as we reach another 5-minute mark, and in indeed does come a number of cars, and here is a tyre change. Can we get tight on that one at the top? That's the number 2, that's Daniele Alesi, who has not yet stopped for tyres. Oh, that's going to push him well down. Also stopping further down the pit lane when this Novorossi mechanic moves. We will tell you that that is the number 5. That's the leader. It's the leader. So our thought about the tyres was correct. He hadn't stopped for tyres, and I think, did he only do one side there? No, he did both sides, because he wouldn't do...
That was hard to tell, to be honest.
You wouldn't do the lefts only. You'd do the rights, possibly, but not... I don't know. No, you might... It's a predominantly left-hand circuit. You'd probably do the rights. But I think he's done the pair of them. So, let's give it a lap to sort itself out, and let's see how it did. Both of those pit stops for tyres, by the way, I thought were very good. So, let's see how that shakes out now with around about 18 and a half minutes to go. Our leader is still Alessio Mazzio in the 5. Despite that pit stop, he's done very, very well. Eric Dangle, the German, is closing in second place and is now back on the lead lap. Mark Green now is also on the lead lap in 3rd place. 5, 3 and 9 all on the lead lap, as is Patrick Nahar. Patrick Nahar in danger of going a lap down to the leader on the number 8. And just the top 4 now on the lead lap, after having many laps separating them. Dario Balestre is not having it his own way. The new set of tyres clearly not suiting him at all. He's down in the 18.9s, 18.8, 18.7s, and it's amazing, isn't it? He was so dominant, Matt, in the first half of that race, and then a new set of foam on there, and he's dropped away. It was a long stop, in fairness to him, but his time's now way off, 2 or 3 tenths.
Indeed, yes. And, well, what is he now?
8th position.
8th position.
So Alessio continues to lead the motor race. And there he is, about to put a lap on Patrick now, I think, as they come down to the pits hairpin and through the Hart chicane. Still 3 pit stops to go, so anything can happen. Been a very clean race though, hasn't it? Other than that incident right at the start. And the pits, generally speaking, as the leader gets a little bit squirrely there over the curbs in the Kleine Schikane.
Yeah, we've had 1 or 2 stop and drops, stop and pickups.
I like stop and drop. That's good.
Drop, yeah. With Bertin and Mark Green had one as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty clean overall. And who's that on the grass over there?
It's
Mark Green.
That is Mark Green, the 3rd place car. And I think he might have just lost a position there as well. Was he letting the leader go through? No, he lost a position to Kyle Branson and to Patrick Neher, and he's in the pits. Is he getting another stop and go? No, he's just getting service. Or did he just lose those positions? Timing screen just catching up with us there. Coming down to another 5-minute mark, so another set of pit stops about to start. Alessio Matteo leads from Dankel and Branson. Number 2, the leader is behind you, is the call. That's Daniele Alesi, who was running at the head of the field. Qualified well up. Not been the best of finals for him. And he pulls away and lets his countryman go through. Now, is that Kyle Branson? That's Kyle Branson. If we just go back, the 3rd car there is Kyle Branson, who's in 3rd, and he's a lap away from the leader, but he's been lapping on the leader's pace. And he kind of needs to get behind the leader and try and force him into a mistake.
Yes.
Or get his lap back cleanly, hopefully. This is a great run from Kyle Branson. Started off grid 6, avoided all the incidents on the first lap. And I would think slightly frustrated at the moment by Alesi in the way, who is many laps down. And by many, I mean 2 or 3. And he really needs the Italian just to move over a little bit and breathe on the throttle down the back straight for a moment, just so he can get through. 57 metres on the back straight, 266 metres on the ideal line. And surely no, the Italian does not give way. I thought he was going to pop to the outside there.
I don't think there's any reason why he should, is there?
Oh, and they're all in the pits together. There's the leader down and away. He's got him on the way out the pits. That was nice stuff. Now, that wasn't a pass for position, but that's so important that he's sprung that car in terms of his chase for 3rd position.
I thought Kyle got out 2nd though, did he not?
No, he did, but that other car was not. He's a lap down. That was Alesi. He's many laps down.
Right.
Alesi was just getting in his way there.
And did he get past Alesi?
He did.
Okay, fine.
So Alessio Matteo leads it from Eric Dankel in 2nd. Mark Green, for the moment, is up into 3rd place, but owes us a pit stop. Then Kyle Branson and Patrick Neher. So it's 5 and 3 with 97 laps completed. Mark Green is 9 with 97 in 3rd. Also with 97 is 6 and 8. Kyle and Patrick.
Edward Pickering. What the hell happened to Yillis? Edward, it's all archived. You'll have to catch up. Sorry, mate.
Yillis didn't make the final. 2 laps from the end. 40 seconds away from a nailed-on place in the final. Glow plug went out and stopped at the side of the road. He missed out by 1 lap. Even if he could have made 1 more lap, he would have made the final because of his time. But it was not to be for the Dutchman on the Shepherd. There's our leader, Alessio Matteo, and there is the 100 lap mark. 26, 26, I'm right. 26 kilometres, 26.6 kilometres has now been completed in the race in 32 minutes. 32 and a half minutes for the pedants amongst you. So let's check back on 2nd place, and we'll have to wait a long time. There is the leader. Dankel's just gone across the line now. So we'll come out here and wait for Eric Dankel and wait for Eric Dankel and wait for Eric Dankel. And I think he's the one to last there. That one coming through there now. I think it's the one in front of that, Nate. Sorry, my bad. Looking for the 3 car. No, that is the 7. My apologies.
Just in front of us now. Going to go over the timing line. Behind grid car 8 of Patrick Nahr. Onto the straight. Middle of the straight. Behind Patrick Nahr. End of the straight.
Right, end of the straight.
Loveheart. There he is.
Thank you. So that's your second place man. And he now is stuck behind Patrick Nahr. Coming down to 11 minutes to go. Third place. Mark Green's hung on to third place even after the pit stops. And there's another set of pit stops to go after this next one. So 2 more pit stops from here for everybody. Unless someone's pulling a real flanker. And Patrick Nahr does yield to Eric Dankel, the German through. So last 10 minutes then, Matt. Can Alessio Mazzio hang on to this? Or has Dankel, Branson, Nahr, or even Mark Green got anything for him?
He's got a whole experienced field behind him. The young serpent driving Italian who's very fast last year. He's got a lot of talent behind him, a lot of experience of drivers behind him.
Into the pit lane for the number 6. That's Kyle Branson, and that's his last stop for the Brit. Briefly into third place. Mark Green pitted as well that lap. Sorry, one more pit stop to go for both of them. I'm wishing my life away. And Mazzio goes through to chalk up another lap. Waiting to see if Dankel's pitted. Yes, he has. So he's just pitted. So we're waiting the lead at the pit now. Only the leading pair on the lead lap before this set of pit stops. So the number 5 due to pit any time now. And he's gone through again. Pushing it here. Car number 2, there's a faster car behind you. That's Daniela Lacey. Now who's he holding up? Well, 4 cars actually. Mazzio still hasn't pitted, you know. So Dankel in second, Green in third, Patrick Nahr in fourth. All running into the 9s, and there is the 2 car in and out of the pits. So that took him out of the way of that train of cars. Alessio Mazzio just pitted as well. So, oh, and somebody's been brought back. Hand power. Mazzio goes across the line. 5 seconds ahead of Eric Dankel in second, and those are the only 2 on the lead lap. Mark Green is between them, but a lap back, if that makes any sense. 5, 3 and 9, but the 9 is between the 5 and 3, but a lap off the leader. So Mark unable to get his lap back. And Kyle Branson's charge seems to have dropped away. What about Dario Balestri, though? Twice a European champion and faded badly in the second half of the race. Still those 2 laps down that he lost getting his tyres changed.
Very nice. And Alessandro Christian watching on the YouTube stream. And hello to all of our Italian viewers who are cheering on both Mazzio and Balestri.
And there is Balestri.
Good that Mazzio is leading the charge for Team Italy and keeping your hopes alive.
So we've got one more pit stop to come in about 2 minutes' time. So let's pick up the leader if we can, Alessio Mazzio, and then we'll cycle back and show you the gaps. We're looking for the number 5 car. And he's going past me now and across the start-finish line now, Nathan, underneath the scoreboard and onto the back straight. You've already got him, haven't you? Yes, you have. So there's the leader. Just watch his lines. The purity of this driving of Alessio Mazzio. Off grid 5, of course, in the Serpent, this young Italian. In the meantime, I'll look back for Eric Dankel, the German, who's just gone across the line now with Mark Green, I think, right up his wheel tracks, but a lap away from him. So we'll just zoom out as the leader finishes this lap now. And the battle for second and third. Here comes the 9. And there goes Patrick Nehar. So let's pick up the 3 of Eric Dankel when he goes through. I'll watch him past me, Nathan, so you can pick him up. And he's in behind the orange car, just giving way. He's the one in front of the orange car and the neon yellow one on the back straight at the moment. That's the number 3. And again, he's already beaten me to it. Well done. So that's second. So you saw the gap between first and second. Now third is Mark Green, who's in that neon car there. But Mark is a lap back from the leaders. So only the 2 leaders on the lead lap at the moment. Patrick Nehar is in 4th position. And Patrick, and is that a pit stop for Mark Green, I think, there? I think I saw him dive into the pits. Yes, indeed. So Mark Green making his last pit stop very early, and Green drops down to 5th as Nahir and Kyle Branson goes through, but of course they're yet to make their last pit stops. 5 minutes to go, and here is the pit stop for the 6 car, Kyle Branson. He'll give up 3rd place, and Patrick Nahir goes through. Let's pick up the leader if we can. Leaders in the pits now. And, this is long, and there he goes. That wasn't the sprightliest of pit stops there for Alessio Mazzio, but he's held on to the lead. Eric Dankel also pitting that lap, and he comes out now. So it's a straight run to the finish now for the leader. So the battle, I think, is for 3rd place between 9, 8 and 6, and we'll have to find out how close they are on the circuit.
I get to stop and go, and they are going over the box 2 times and nothing.
A bit of argument going on in the pits, just proving how seriously this has all been taken. Well, let's pick up Mark Green, the number 3. There he is. And let's see who he's got behind him. Patrick Nehar is the 8 car, and he can't be that far away. It's not Patrick in behind him, is it? Yes, it is it? No, it's the 0. Patrick is the car with the green rear end, 2 back from that one. So if we just zoom out there, Nathan, please, and watch for the green car coming through there. So that's the battle for 3rd. That's 4th place at the moment. Patrick Nehar, who qualified through from the quarterfinals, remember, with the opportunity of a podium in the European Championships. All that's standing between him, 2 lapped cars, and Mark Green. And Mark Green is not getting away from him at the moment. Lap time's going out a little bit for everybody at the moment. Last 3 minutes then of the European Championships, the EFRA IC 10th Touring Cars. Brought to you by Protoform Racing Bodies, live here on RC Racing TV. Alessio Mazzio has really taken this race by the scruff of its neck since half distance. Eric Dankel, the German, the 5 leading from the 3, Eric Dankel, the German, in 2nd place, keeping the Italian honest. And then Mark Green, and here he is in 3rd place. The Brit having driven up from grid 9 on the Serpent. But he's not home and hosed yet with the very quick Patrick Nahir qualifier from the quarterfinals, trying to get back to him. And at the moment, It's Daniele Alaisi who is trying to unlap himself from Mark Green, who is causing Mark the trouble. Mark really doesn't need this when he's holding on, and that's very sensible by Mark. He gave the Italian room. Now that car is lapsed down, so that wasn't a battle for position.
Just enough room to hang himself.
Yeah, that was smart. So look out behind for the white front with the green back. Patrick Nahar's come up from 8th position, and there he is. And he's now got to get past Alaisi. And with 90 seconds to go, the leader puts in one of his slowest laps of the race.
Driving steady now, isn't he?
No chances to be taken at the front.
James Healy says, what car is the leader driving? Mazzio's driving a Serpent.
Yeah, Alessio Mazzi, a Serpent for Italy. And that could be the unluckiest man of all, qualifying through from the quarterfinals. Patrick Nair in the 8 car, 4th position, 1 step off the podium. Let's pick up the leader for the last minute of racing. The number 5.
Second of the 2 white cars.
Going onto the back straight now.
Yeah, he's got him.
And there is the Serpent of Alessio Mazzi. Got through the West Bend kerfuffle on the first lap. Held his position. Looked like the race was going to really, the race leader Dario Balestri was going to disappear into the distance, but at the tyre change at 20 minutes with 25 minutes to go, a long pit stop and poor pace after it by Balestri put paid to his European Championship hopes, and there'll be no 3 times on the podium for Balestri. And there will be a new name on the trophy. Balestri, the only man who has won the Europeans before in 06 and 07. But it will be the Italian national anthem that plays as the hooter goes and the checkered flag waves for Alessio Mazzi, and the Italian contingent to my left go bonkers. And there is your new IC 1/10 EFRA European champion, Alessio Mazzi. Eric Dankel for Germany in second on the 3. Mark Green holds on to a podium spot in 3rd place from grid 9. Patrick Nair, who came through from the quarterfinals in 4th position. Kyle Branson in 5th. And the pole sitter Balestri has to make do with 6th position. So, time to get down and see if we can pick up some interviews with the winners. Alessio Mazzi doing great job at the head of the field. The podium comes out. So the podium is out in front of the pit lane at the moment, and our live broadcast from here in Austria almost complete. But of course we do need to speak to the winner who is being hugged. And great emotion being shown. He's taking it all in up on the balcony. Just a moment there where Alessio Mazzi just was left on his own on the balcony, the driver's balcony, and looked out. And just took it in for a moment as he dares to believe that he is the European champion. And there's some tears there.
Thank you. Just down here, straight after the photo.
And he's still up there on his own, just breathing it all in. And that is a picture and a half as he stands on his own on top of the trophy, the EFRA European champion, top of the balcony as a European champion for the first time. And he comes down, and we should have him with the trophy in just a second. And hopefully we'll get a quick word with him before the formalities of the presentation and before he gets sprayed with champagne. He's heading down at the moment. And delighted to say, and I hope you can see this, Nate, I've got Michael Salvin with me, the man at the head of Serpent. What a championship for you personally. I thought you did really well. Unlucky not to have progressed further, but you've got to be delighted with the performance of your chassis in the final. 2 Serpents on the podium.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a little bit emotional, to be honest. We had some bad luck. We lost our so far fastest driver in the semi because of some engine problems, Dominic Greiner. So I wasn't really positive about it, but it turned out really great for us. I'm so happy. I really.
And the venue here, the organisation's been excellent, but the track itself so quick, so flowing, really been good to race on.
Absolutely. I mean, the track is amazing. It has a nice flow and it's really challenging. It's absolutely not easy. And the racing being so close at the end shows the level of racing here. Absolutely great.
And the final there, a couple of the big names not making the final. Were you surprised? I mean, there's a lot of strength and depth in Europe, and I think this probably shows it from the 10 guys that we had in the final and some of the big names not making it.
Absolutely. I mean, if you have a stop and go, you never recover. The racing is too close, and if you have a tiny problem or some hiccup of any kind, you can't make it. I mean, there are some new guys, some new talent coming up, and I'm really happy to see that.
Coming to the end of the European season, and what a fantastic season it's been, and what a way to round off our live coverage this year here on RC Racing TV. What secrets have you got stashed away for the winter at Serpent? What can you tell us about 2014?
Well, it's secrets, right?
Oh, come on, give us some clues. Well, are you planning to do some more racing? You keep telling everybody you're going to retire.
No, that was my last 10 scale Euros. But I will do 8 scale. I will continue 8 scale racing, but I just have too much work. We have so many new cars. We will have a new buggy, 10 scale buggy, 2 actually, a rear motor one and a mid motor one. So these kind of things keep me so busy. And this was my second race, and the first race after Bangkok, which was in November, and I didn't touch 10 scale cars. So it doesn't make sense.
Congratulations and well done. For getting 2 cars on the podium. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey!
And this is a picture and a half, is it not? Fantastic stuff. And one of those 2 Serpents on the podium is the man who took it all. What a race. Tell me a little bit about your feelings right now. You stood up there for quite a long time just breathing in the atmosphere.
Che dice?
Dice che ti ha visto alla fine, da quant'è che aspetti questa gara, cosa è successo, come è andata la gara?
Questa gara qui l'aspettiamo da tanto tempo, sia io che mio padre abbiamo dedicato tanti sforzi, tanti sacrifici per arrivare dove siamo adesso. C'è sempre mancato quel qualcosa in più e arrivavo ma non vincevo mai, quindi è stata una grande soddisfazione, non si può descrivere a parole.
It's long time that Alessio is very fast driver, but don't have lucky to arrive first position. Now is success, and is not you have not word to the happy that you have now, because with his father work a lot, more time, and this is a correct success for this race.
Your driving was excellent, but your tyre change was outstanding. You must be pleased at how the guys worked in the pits.
Yes, in fact, I want to congratulate with your mechanics, because do a very good job. Also the refueling is okay, and also the driver or Alessio is very fast.
So now do you celebrate tonight and maybe a headache tomorrow?
Yeah.
Does he celebrate tonight and have a headache tomorrow?
Yes, we stay here to do happy this night, and tomorrow we come back in Italy.
And when is your next race?
I think the next year.
Next year, I think.
Okay. And you'll be back to defend your championship?
Yes.
Yes. The decision's made. Well done. Excellent race this week, and you've provided us with a whole lot of excitement and entertainment. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hey, Eric. Well, very close. Eric Dankel with me here. That was some race, wasn't it? Started off in with a bit too much excitement of first corner incident. You managed to survive that and keep it going. How did the race progress for you? Not exactly the start anybody wanted.
Yes, the start was a little bit difficult because I had hit Daniele after the timing loop, but for him it was no problem. And for me also not, and I say sorry to him, but the referee gave me a 10-second penalty. I cannot stand it because I waited, and I go into the bits and they're counting the penalty without a clock. I cannot stand this. It's impossible. I cannot believe this is unbelievable.
Did that affect you then, or do you have to put that out of your mind? That's 35-40 seconds into a 45-minute race. Surely you can't carry that with you for the rest of the race. No. You've just got to forget.
Yes, I don't think it is because it was gone. It's in the past. I pushed very hard and I had a great tire change thanks to my pit crew. And in the end, it was only 2 seconds. But it's impossible. I cannot understand.
It looked like Dario was driving away with it in that first half of the race, but he had a bad tyre change and it seemed like he didn't have the pace after the tyre stop. Did you scrub in a second set of tyres in the warm-up period?
Yes, before the timeouts, my car felt not that good, and my pitman asked me if we break in the second set of tyres, and I agreed. And I felt immediately that the second set of tyres were much better. And I say the first set we don't use, only for spare. But there was a big difference because it felt like a lot of more steering.
So when you did your tyre change, you put a brand new set on and just dealt with the handling imbalance from that point?
Yes, it was a brand new set I never drove before, but for sure it couldn't be worse than the first set.
Yeah. So second place, all right, you're a little disappointed clearly, but when I spoke to you were earlier in the week, you were happy if you got to the final. So in some ways, mixed emotions?
Yes. I mean, it's disappointing to lose the championship by 2 seconds. At the moment, I'm a little bit sad about this. Yeah, but maybe tomorrow I can laugh again.
And tell me about the speed that you had. You were the only person who had the fastest lap all week. You got it down to an 18.1. Did you change the car from the qualifying to come and race? Because you didn't show that kind of speed in the race. Was it a different setup or were you just driving very differently?
No, it was the same setup. I got only higher with the car, more right side, but the setup was the same. I don't make any changes for this.
Thank you for talking to us. Well done. I hope you realise that is a good result and you take away the positives out of it.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
And we will carry on. Hello, Mark.
Hi there.
Mark Green. Well, Mark, you made it into the final by the very skin of your teeth. I think it was the third qualifying session in the heat of the afternoon yesterday that got you through into it. You were having a great battle at the bottom end of the top 14 with 2 or 3 people there. You got in. How did you feel overnight and how did you come to the race today?
I felt fairly confident. I mean, the car's been very consistent. It wasn't on the pace. I mean, otherwise it'd be further up the grid. But with the lack of testing and the rain, it really cut down our testing for this meeting. So we always knew we'd be up against it. So for me, the 14th place during qualification was like a TQ. You know, to get there that high and be direct into the semis I was over the moon.
But then you did it again in the semis and you had us all on the edges of our seats because you had to qualify through as one of the fastest losers. Gilles Grosskamp lost a glow plug with a minute or so to go, and that allowed both of you guys, Hagberg and yourself, from your semi-final into the final. So you start from grid 9 and then basically the first corner under time, there's all that mess going on, which you managed to drive through.
Yeah, as quite often the case when the racing's so close, you tend to get a pile up on the first lap. I mean, I never quite understood the enthusiasm on the first lap, but yeah, I went off the line, kept the car on the grippy stuff, so that if anything did happen, I was there to jump on it, which in this case it happened.
Fairly quiet first half of the race for you. Dario was driving away from everybody at the front of the field. He came in to change tyres. It wasn't a great stop, and clearly he didn't like his second set of tyres. You went a little bit longer on your first set of tyres and had a cracking tyre change.
Yeah, I mean, I have to give all credit to the pit crew.
I actually thought they'd only changed 2 tyres. They were so quick, I'll be honest. But then I realised that the 2 that changed would have been the wrong side, and it wouldn't have given you any advantage. They were super quick, weren't they?
They were. I mean, they've done a first-class job. I mean, I think I'd be pretty on the money if I said they were probably the fastest in that final by quite a way. I mean, it just went perfect. So I can't say more. I mean, they're just first-class job by them all.
And then, of course, you were in that great battle with Kyle, with Alex for third place. It was changing every time you came into the pit, and you drove it home from there. But always with the thought of a pit stop, even at sort of 15 minutes to go. You know, you've got 2 more pit stops to go. There's always a bit to do from then on, and you drove it home.
Yeah, I mean, you have to play to the car. You know, when the tyres are getting that low, you only need to clip a curb, roll over, you get a stall. That's it. You know, you're out of it. So it's always wiser, I should say, to try and play it safer. I mean, if you're in a battle, then you have to go for it. You don't have a choice. But I came out in a little bit of space, and I just tried to keep it on the track and keep it real clean and tidy and bring it home.
Didn't feel you could go after the 2 guys ahead of you, Eric and Alessio?
Not on the second set. The first set of tyres were really good. But unfortunately we had that 10-second stop and go for bad refuelling. So if we take that into account, you know, it really does show that we were possible winners. But coming from where I've come from this week, I'll take third anytime. I'm more than happy with that.
You take home a trophy back to the UK. Well done, and thanks for talking to us. Well done, Mark Reid.
No problem. Thank you very much.
So there you are, ladies and gentlemen, the 3 podium finishes for the EFRA European Championships for 1/10 IC touring cars. You can see that the glassware and the silverware is being prepared for the formal parts of the presentation. My thanks go to Matt and to Nathan and to Nick Damon back at RC Racing TV base. Thank you very much for joining us on this Protoform Racing Bodies sponsored week of broadcasting, or 4 days of broadcasting from here in Austria. Also, of course, to our partners at EFRA, not only for their organisation but also their support as well. This is the last of our European sojourns for 2013, but don't go too far away from rcracing.tv, because we have more coverage, live coverage for you in September, a little special, and of course every month there's more RC racing on Motors TV, now on channel 447 in the UK. Check your local listings for detail. On behalf of the whole team, I'm John Hindhaugh. Thank you for making me a part of this. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend from Austria and the EFRA European 1/10 IC touring cars. Bye for now.